There are countless video games being released every year. Some make it, others fail. Irregardless of success, a lot of these games have at least one feature that set them apart from the rest. And this is about that one feature. For our first outing in this series, let us begin with something unusual for this channel, before we dive into the familiar grounds of FPS gaming. Let us take a look into the Look into the Curve feature of Need for Speed Shift 2. It is a feature that has no name, at least to my knowledge, so let's use the a bit clunky name, the Look into the Curve feature. Do you remember when Electronic Arts came up with the great idea of turning their racing game franchise into a racing simulator? A franchise which up to that point was known for incredibly ridiculously tuned up cars, wild arcade-style police chases and absolutely terrifyingly cringe-worthy stories?
What did I tell you? Razor, he shadowed me. I couldn't shake up.
Yeah! Razor Callahan! You can tell how this is cool because everything is yellow, like in the End music video from Linkin Park.
That ride is hot.
Yes? No? Well, it doesn't really matter. In the second installment of Need for Speed Shift, the developer Slightly Mad Studios, and I still think that name is awesome, introduced a helmet perspective in addition to the usual perspectives such as pursuit, cockpit and bumper. In this helmet perspective you have a very intense driving experience, which was even enhanced by the player character looking down into the curving road during a turn. So without your input, the character looks where you are going. There are no crazy exaggerated movements, it's rather subtle. Notice going down these curves, you can see a little bit out the side windows. The camera is not welded to the windshield. In comparison to the usually static camera, this does make a difference. I was totally used to the camera always pointing straight ahead. I am no racing game aficionado. I think I've done a lot more racing in GTA than in any actual racing game, so for me, this was a bit unusual at first. Yes, in the beginning I hated that feature. I mean, where does the game get off taking the control away from me? I even yelled at the top of my lungs and asked myself if the developers were stupid. However, since I like driving in the helmet perspective because it is so immersive, I forced myself to tolerate this feature. And after a few hours, I loved it. When you think about it, it's actually weird that it hasn't become the standard, because it is natural. Anyone who has ever operated a vehicle, anything from a bicycle to a truck, will automatically look down the path to exactly where the curve leads, and not just stupidly straight ahead as in most, if not all, racing games. Correct me if I'm wrong, I have certainly not played every racing game out there, but at least that's my impression. This feature feels natural because it allows us to look further ahead and react to oncoming obstacles. It isn't uncommon that players do this manually with the analog sticks, and there are even gadgets out there that track the player's head or eyes and orienting the camera accordingly, so that the player's in-game representation looks exactly where the actual player is looking at, shifting the game's field of view accordingly. If racing games would use this Need for Speed Shift 2 feature, maybe these gadgets wouldn't be needed. Or at least racing games from a first-person or helmet perspective would become more immersive. When I was recording footage for this video, I had to get used to this feature again, but knowing how cool it is in the end, the adjustment process was a lot more tolerable and damn, it's awesome. With this I can fully concentrate on driving and my maneuvers, without taking my thumb off the handbrake to look around. Do you know this feature? Do you like it? Tell us in the comments. We started the That One Feature series with a racing topic because there are a whole bunch of our Patreon supporters who are into racing games, and we thought this would maybe strike their fancy. If you would like us to strike your fancy as well, consider giving this video a like, subscribing for future content, and maybe even join our supporters on Patreon, because they got to see this video well before anyone else. Those lovely supporters are Lone Wolf, Z Gladys, Wrapped in Glass, Cookie, AX98, Thito, Rival556, Plasma, Tome, Rainbow Flash, Grizzly Bear, Strange Module, Cop Fighter, Inter, Charles Surrit, Sir K, Ram Gilama, Zane, Whiskey, Christoph, MTD, Leggy Boy, Daniel, Frailem, Crony XS, Theovio, iMantrix, Arman Oziloco, Rolling Rock, Sidonai, and welcoming Dante Lee Franklin. A gigantic thank you for your support. To them and everyone else, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Until then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.